Tonight on Joynews, Prime Inspector General of Police assures that security agencies are ready to tackle any situation that may arise in the 2020 election, even as it identifies over 6,000 flashpoints.
Approaching all polling stations as potential flashpoints. However, we have identified 6,178 flashpoints nationwide.
Parliament has meanwhile summoned the EC chairperson and the National Security Minister on preparations to Parliament on preparations to ensure a free and violence-free election.
The Electoral Commission is in the process of readjusting their own program for tomorrow, and possibly we shall see all these major stakeholders come to the House tomorrow.
In a related development, social media giant Facebook says it is rolling out key interventions to protect Ghana's election from manipulation. We'll be speaking with the Africa rep in business.
The Millennium Challenge Corporation has set September 2021 as the end date for Ghana's second compact program. We analyze the impacts on Ghana's electricity industry. Also in the bulletin, think tank IMANI Ghana scores the MPP government 56.77% for the fulfillment of its campaign promises. We'll bring you that plus the other stories from the campaign trail. My name is LARYEA and Joynews Prime is coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kokumlimli here in Accra on digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air. They're also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Remember, this is the home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. Think tank IMANI Africa has scored the New Patriotic Party government 56.77% for the fulfillment of its 2016 campaign promises. The score means the MPP fared better at delivering on its promises than the NDC, which was scored 52.9% for the delivery of its 2012 campaign promises. There's more in the following report by Matilda Gavi.
The report focused on the economy, governance, human capital investment, infrastructure, among others. The report card forms part of IMANI's critical assessment of political parties' manifestos, aimed at getting voters informed on choices, as well as make political parties accountable to the people. Research consultant for IMANI Africa, Dennis Asari, says a lot of progress has been made in the economy, especially with the passage of the Fiscal Responsibility Law to ensure macroeconomic stability. However, government's 2016 promise to ensure double-digit GDP is yet to be realized.
Of the 162 promises they made under economy, the MPP promised that they were going to abolish the 1% special import levy that was charged on imports, and especially within the ECOWAS region. This, they were able to abolish it in their first step. They also promised that they were going to abolish the 17.5% VAT on selected imported medicines, where those medicines are not produced domestically. They are going to abolish the VAT on it. They also did that in their first step and also abolished the 17.5% VAT and NHI on financial services. Again, they promised that to ensure more macroeconomic stability, they were going to pass what we call the Fiscal Responsibility Law to guide government in its macroeconomic policies. They were able to pass the Fiscal Responsibility Law. Again, they set up the Fiscal Council, gave them the task and established them and started working. Now, they also promised that to ensure a sound banking system to accelerate economic growth, they were going to clean the financial sector, which they did and has become a very major component of the country's debt. Despite the progress that they made in the economy section, what we found out was that their promise of achieving a double-digit GDP, they have not been able to do, or we are yet to see, as of today, we are yet to see a double-digit GDP in the country. They also promised that they were going to minimize the political patronage of state-sponsored microfinance institutions like MASLOC. The way MASLOC disburses its funds and allocates resources to, let's say, citizens, they were going to reduce the extent of political influences in the process. But as of now, we have not seen a clear competitive approach in delivering even MASLOC funds to citizens.
The government was commended for delivering on promises around primary education, but scored 0 for the education subsector.
The collaboration with the private sector to provide Wi-Fi services has not been very effective. And even last month and this month, we've heard some CHAS members, the Coalition of Head of Assistant of Schools, said that in most of the schools that they know of, it is the cables that have been laid, but the Wi-Fi is yet to reach the school. When you look at the education subsector, the NPP performed very poorly. They scored 0. And in terms of their collaboration with mission school to ensure much participation of the missions in these schools and enhance the development of the mission school. But in the area of primary education, due to the free senior high school policy and extending it to technical and vocational schools, they performed 100% improvement in terms of achieving that promise. So in terms of delivering primary education, which includes basic, senior high school and technical and vocational school, they performed very, very well.
On health, government was commended for effectively restructuring the National Health Insurance Scheme. The NPP has also fulfilled its promise to restore trainee nurses' allowance, but are yet to see the implementation of the Mental Health Fund.
Despite the progress they made in the health sector, we are yet to see a comprehensive plan for the safe disposal of biomedical waste. And now, during the COVID time, you saw more partnership in this area, but in terms of getting a comprehensive policy as a country to prosecute this, we are yet to see that. In also implementing a national epidemic response, we are yet to see a well-coordinated national epidemic response. But during the COVID-19 era, some temporary measures or some programs were put in place to arrest the situation, and also establishing trauma centers within all hospitals along our major highways.
According to the scorecard, a number of promises made under social services, which include the schools feeding program, women empowerment, and livelihood empowerment against poverty, have been fulfilled. The government, however, performed poorly in tackling floods. On corruption, here's what the NPP administration scored.
Now, under governance, corruption, and public accountability, the NPP promised that their main approach for tackling corruption in this country was to set up the Office of the Special Prosecutor. They were able to execute that one. The office was established, the Special Prosecutor has been appointed, and in this week we have seen him effectively in the media working and delivering reports. Despite this progress, we are yet to see the special website that will help corruption reporting under the Whistleblowers Act 2006 being effectively executed. We are yet to see that website being established.
In 2016, the Manifesto Final Scorecard scored the John Mahama administration 52.9%, but it says the NPP did 56.77% of its 2016 promises. Research consultant for IMANI Africa, Dennis Asari, explains the difference.
So the overall score was 53%. So the NDC between 2012 to 2016 had achieved about almost 54% of their promises. But one thing that we need to put in context was that they had about 540 promises and the NPP has 510 promises. So we need to also put that in context. But by this same time in 2016, the NDC had done 54%. Now the NPP has done 56.77%. But let's put the number of promises also in context.
Meanwhile, the 2016 manifesto promises yet to be fulfilled by the NPP government includes the passage of Consumer Protection Law, the setup of Procurement Audit Unit at the Attorney General Department. The report says it is also yet to see an open and transparent recruitment into the security service. For Joynews, Matilda Gavi.
The National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for Wassa Menfi East, Nicholas Amankwa, says he narrowly escaped death Wednesday dawn when armed men launched an attack on his home at Wassa Ekropong. It is unclear who is behind the attack, but some members of his party managed to foil the attempt. The candidate, Nicholas Amankwa, has been giving an account of what transpired.
I rushed to Honorable Nicholas's house after receiving a distress call at about 3 a.m. that he was being attacked by armed men. Upon reaching the house, there was a man trying to break his way into the house with a huge stick and others standing by with guns. I heard Nicholas's mother asking why they are attacking his son. They confirmed they had come to kill him. When they spotted me, they tried to shoot me, but I managed to dodge the bullets and called for reinforcement. We started pelting stones at them. When they realized they couldn't control the situation, they escaped with warning shots.
Opposition National Democratic Congress has dismissed 18 of its members for filing as independent parliamentary candidates in the December 7 polls. The affected individuals are from 11 regions across the country. General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esedun Ketia, in a statement Wednesday, said the 18 persons forfeited their membership the moment they filed with the Electoral Commission as independent candidates. He has directed those in question to hand over all party property in their possession to their respective constituency secretariats, cautioning that the dismissed persons should henceforth desist from using any paraphernalia of the party and its flag bearer's name in any campaign. Now here's the full list of the individuals that have been suspended. So it lists them as Valis Achiano for Central, lawyer Ishmael Texing, Emmanuel Gagbo Gum, Ogabe S. Gibson, and Honorable Dominic Azuma, Akunye Simon for Pusiga, Isaac Newton Nyade. There are others in the Savelugu constituency, Myong, Damongo, Salaga South, Krachi in Chumru, Nadoli Kalio, and Bodi. Elsewhere, President Akufo-Addo has expressed his disappointment over the refusal by the NPP MP for Fomena to rescind his decision to contest as an independent parliamentary candidate in the constituency. The MP's decision has left the party's support in the constituency split between the incumbent and the party's nominee, Philip Ofori Asante. The president has been speaking at Tudeba in his honor at Fomena in the Ashanti region. Prince Apia has more in this report.
So the phenomenon of NPP members contesting as independent candidates in the December election is a growing worry to the party's leadership. The incumbent MP for Fomena, Andrew Asiama, opted to go independent after he was challenged and lost the party parliamentary primary to Philip Ofori Asante. Adansehene Opejakwachre Bonsra Efriye observes the phenomenon will retard the development of Adanse community.
My independent candidate, several times. Now on fa, eti oba mi fie no, osina ni fon adum. To oba e obesere kwanse, obeba adansi traditional council. Me share September 8, se womra. Me be ka kire ma hemfo. September 8 yetnas ya wamba ko ba ya na ke ni masemo a ye be ka kire no. Wamba ntino up till now maintain nka. Na ya de enim ne se Yamanyo Samoa, I work on no need the constitution no chireno. So Mampani or Hono or no Nipan obey na Mayeno or no need in a chile.
Mesha North MP and Education Minister Dr. Matthew Poko-Prempeh shared the chief's concerns.
2004, MP no had never a question Afrifa. 2008, near friend Abu Bonsra. 2012, near friend Atabuafu. 2016, near friend say, yes, near friend Siama. Would you start as you be could be maybe I can need you away. Atabuafu by here, wedding answer. So, giant party that can know the ambassador. It's why why was see Uba adansi befa adansifoɔ formula for the Kodi MP. Na formula for so busana so Chesia. Koshepo.
At a Deba, President Akufo-Addo expressed disappointment in the MP for failing to heed to his advice.
So why who say independent candidate no M1 formula M1 dansemai because the banesa na chese mrase bedwam ho no munyo bia odi aba na betumi akasa amamu a ede faso abenya ho aba so no opani asemi me shadanti ase na me tey say why not we say bia obeko independent candidate long before about 3 months me said that friend I mean to say matters asemi say o pese o ko independent na me so independent no emwa me sanye bi kra na o wani a independent candidate for parliament is completely dominated by party candidates and then na obetumi ayo enti se funso bi aba na san funso ntina ebufu aba wo afa o pese ko jina independent Mr. Young friend before no any from so into nchai yen to aba na wie na bia sese ye e manti ase ye adwuma e ma wo so unya wa hoto no mini president to me me sana wo nti no wo da hwe me so dia sese me ye ataboafo de ko ya ataboafo akobi ataboafo no ni ambassador wo Congo you know pay ka we ni I free me honor. I visit Bia, what I must say. Say on Timase, to
the president commissioned a 450-bed boys' dormitory at T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School and inspected works at the Fomena District Hospital. My name is Prince Apia reporting from Fomena.
Former President John Mahama has launched a scathing attack on the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu, challenging him to proceed with investigations on his alleged involvement in the Airbus scandal. The former president described Mr. Amidu as a coward for sneaking portions of the Airbus investigation into his Ejapa report in a bid to equalize wrongdoing. The Office of the Special Prosecutor said it has established the identity of the elected government official one in the Airbus SE scandal as former President John Mahama, explaining the only reason he has not been invited for interrogation, in spite of all threats from some of his followers and lawyers, is the fact that he got himself an insurance as a presidential candidate of the other largest political party in Ghana, and explained that prudence dictated that the interrogation be held in abeyance during this election season. Addressing students of the University of Ghana Tuesday, Mr. Mahama called Mr. Amidu's bluff, challenging him to proceed with his investigations if he had any basis for saying.
And they knew that the Ejapa was going to be discussed today. Because he was a coward and he knew that they were going to discuss Ejapa, so put a paragraph on Airbus to equalize the discussion. I mean, what stupidity is this? You know, because you are investigating Ejapa. Present a report in Ejapa. Why? Because you know Ejapa is going to be discussed. You've indicted the president's cousin as finance minister, and you are afraid that you are presenting only a report on Ejapa. So in the Ejapa report, put some other reports that balance the equation. I thought he was man enough. Come out. The point is, you say I'm the leader of a political party. I say, if you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. If you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. There's been a DPA, a deferred prosecution agreement. You are not a party to it. You don't know who are involved in it. They've identified some people in it. You don't have an authenticated agreement from SFO or from whoever is involved in it. And you say, I surmise that government official one is so. Somebody is so. On what legal basis are you proceeding? But you see, the thing is, his office is important because the investigation they did on Ijapa is not a surprise. I said it this morning. We knew already that it was vitiated with corruption. Everything that he has found out.
You're watching Joynews Prime. We're taking a break. Before then, though, let me bring you the very latest on the COVID updates or COVID statistics as supplied by the Ghana Health Service. So, Ghana currently has 877 active cases after about 433 cases were 443 cases were reported over 2 days. The virus is still looming, and so it is important that you wear your mask and continue to adhere to the other preventive protocols that has been stated by the Ghana Health Service. Still ahead in the bulletin, Inspector General of Police assures the security agencies are ready to tackle any situation that may arise in the 2020 election, even as it identifies over 6,000 flashpoints.
All polling stations as potential flashpoints. However, we have identified 6,178 flashpoints nationwide.
Parliament has meanwhile summoned the EC chairperson and the National Security Minister on the preparations to ensure a free and violence-free election.
The Electoral Commission is in the process of readjusting their own program for tomorrow, and possibly we shall see all these major stakeholders come to the House tomorrow.
And then in a related development, social media giant Facebook says it is rolling out key interventions to protect Ghana's election from manipulation. We will be speaking to the company. Do stay tuned in, we're back in a bit. Workers of the Tema refinery are calling for the removal of the company's board of directors. They say the board has failed in its supervisory role as the oil refinery is unable to make any proper investments to generate revenue. Chairman of the Workers' Union, Bright Adongo, and Chairperson of the Ghana Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers' Union, Sewa Duncan Willem, have been speaking with Joynews.
We're having issues with our board. We terminate the board because the board, instead of exercising certain oversight responsibility over management in terms of policies and things to do to change the cash flow situation of the refinery, the board have not been able to exercise it. Look, the workers went out of their way because it was not part of their job description. Partnered management brought proposals that you don't need, some of them, you don't even need a resource to implement them. That could change the cash flow structure of the refinery. And these are things that we have control over. For the past 2 years, the board was brought into the picture to the extent that it came down to the level of committees to check some of the committees' report. And clearly, they realized the potentials that could come from those reports. Yet, they never exercised their oversight responsibility on management to make sure that check and balances in terms of timelines that needed to be exerted on management so that we can get the needed resource is executed.
The Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply, GIPS, has suspended the former CEO of the Public Procurement Authority, PP, Ejenim Boateng Ejei, The embattled former CEO of the authority was sacked last week by the president following the recommendation of the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice (SHRAJ). Investigative journalist Manasseh Azuriah-Wune, in his Contracts for Sale documentary, found out the sacked PPA boss's company, Talent Discovery Limited, was winning contracts in a restricted tender. The Governing Council of GIBS noted in a press statement that prior to SHRAJ's findings, it extended a formal invitation to Mr. Boateng Ejay to meet with its disciplinary committee in respect of its constitution and codes of ethics, but failed to honor the invitation without justifiable cause. Watching Joynews Prime, we're taking a break here now to bring you business news. Do stay tuned.
Hello, good evening. It's time for business with me, Charles Aite. The Millennium Challenge Corporation is hoping to officially end Ghana's Compact program in September next year, I should say. Now, this was contained in an email from the Chief Executive of the corporation, Sean Cairncross, in Washington, D.C. to Joy Business. George Raffi has more in this report.
According to the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the program is in its last year of operation and will focus on completing key investments, largely in the Greater Accra region. The Power Compact is also working to improve the infrastructure of Ghana's southern distribution network, increase reliability and power access to key markets, and advance energy efficiency program. The corporation is targeted September 6th to officially complete the program. On the PDA saga, the corporation described it as disappointing as to how government has handled it, adding that it was forced to withdraw some additional $190 million that was supposed to have been advanced to Ghana to support the completion of the program. But are the current challenges with how government has handled the privatization of UCG affect the country's ability to qualify for the Third Compact? Well, the chief executive of the Millennium Challenge Corporation noted that the board of the corporation is yet to select countries that will be eligible for the Third Compact. However, his focus now is on how to successfully close the page when it comes to the Second Compact. However, Joy Business has learned that due to how government handled this PDA's issue, it is likely that it may not be selected for the Third Compact. But the chief executive, in an email to Joy Business, was however quick to add that they were satisfied with how Ghana has managed the program so far and was looking forward to working with the government in the future. Ghana in 2014 initiated the Second Compact to the U.S. government to help deal with challenges in the energy sector. Or the year to the completion of the program, question still remains whether the program has been able to help transform the energy sector.
Now, the Executive Director of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, GYAN'S, says the passage of the new act that rebrands the NBSSI to Ghana Enterprise Agency is part of a long-term transformation for small-scale businesses in the country. Parliament yesterday passed the Ghana Enterprises Agency Act to change the name of the NBSSI into an agency in order to have a bigger mandate for SMEs. There is more in this report. The Ghana Enterprises Agency Bill is expected to give a legal backing to the operations of a new agency to replace the National Board for Small-Scale Industries. Speaking to Joy Business about the new development, GYAN'S assured SMEs that more funding programs will be executed under the new mandate. According to her, the transformation will help strengthen many micro, medium and small-scale enterprises.
What they need to expect is an institution that is strengthened and resourced to be able to deliver on its mandate, which is ensuring that there's enough financial support, because there's an SME fund that is going to be set up to ensure that the access to finance challenges that a lot of MSMEs face are really taken care of.
The bill, which was passed under a certificate of urgency, will oversee, coordinate, as well as promote the development of micro, small and medium-scale enterprises. GYAN'S has also been speaking about the importance of this bill.
The old act that governed the institution was outdated and outmoded and needed to be revised. Successive governments had tried, and fortunately, under the vision and direction of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we were able to transform this institution into the Ghana Enterprises Agency. The importance and relevance cannot be underestimated.
A special funding vehicle will also be established to provide funding for the small and medium-scale businesses under the new bill. Now, away from that, Ghana and the rest of Africa has missed out on the $10 billion trade potential for coffee in the global market. Now, in an aggressive strategy to reposition and tap into this market, government will in the coming weeks roll out some new incentives for players in the coffee value chain. Now, this includes loans and research development, and to this end, Fifi Boafo is the head of public relations at Cocoa Board. He's been speaking at the just launched virtual conference, the International African Coffee Organizations meeting.
A big event where we have everybody within the coffee sector joining us here in Ghana for that very important program. I think to a very large extent, the talk about coffee has been on a low tone in Ghana, even though we all love our coffee. But we don't talk about it much. There's a new direction, and management of Ghana Cocoa Board, responsible for the coffee sector of our country, seek to ensure that we place more attention on the development of coffee. Inter-Africa Coffee Organization, now the chairperson for the organization is the minister responsible for agriculture in Ghana. It tells you the commitment we have as a country towards the development of the coffee sector. So this year's summit will be held here in Ghana. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we are unable to bring everybody here on board, regardless of the challenge that poses. We, as much as possible, want to ensure that we give it the necessary attention and prominence.
And that'll be it for business for this edition. Sports is up next.
Thank you for staying with us on Joynews Prime. I'm Gary Al Smith with the sport. In our first story, ASAMOAH has expressed delight with his move to Ghana Premier League side Legon Cities. Jan, who is the country's highest goal scorer of all time, has had his first training session with the club on Tuesday and spoke to the club's media after the session.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. You know, sometimes you need to accept certain things. You know, last time I played football was in January when I got injured. You know, I got injured in January. I came back home, and then the COVID, everything. You know, I didn't play football. You know, I had to play tennis to keep fit. You know, so I'm now okay. You know, injury-wise, everything is fine. So I decided to start working. You know, because honestly, I added a bit of weight. You know, so I need to just get back in shape so I can start playing football. You know, so when the city contacted me, you know, we had to just evaluate everything, and then everything was successful. You know, the projects they have, you know, the future plan they have, it makes a bit of sense. And then me being a professional football player, you know, and with my experience, I feel like, hey, this is going to benefit Ghanaian football, it's going to benefit me, a player as well. So that was my decision. It's a good decision for me. No, personally, I don't feel any pressure. Like, I'm just here to enjoy myself. You know, I just want to get fit, enjoy myself on the field, make the fans happy, you know, do what I can do on the field, help the young ones, because especially the young ones, because most of them look up to me. You know, playing around me is going to push them to do more, you know. So the most important thing is me getting fitter, and then make sure I can deliver. And also me being in the Ghanaian League can bring more exposure.
In other news, head coach of Dreams FC, WINFRED Dormon, believes his side will take all 3 points when they face Inter Allies on match day 1 of the new Premier League season. The Still Believe boys will make the trip to Accra to face Eric Lam's men on the weekend of November 13. Oreku Ampofo was at their Medina training grounds this morning and filed this report.
Right here on the Medina AstroTurf pitch is where Dreams FC are preparing intensely for the new Ghana Premier League season, which kicks off on November 14th. Dreams FC, who are based in Dawu in the Eastern region, have made the 2-hour journey to Accra for their pre-season. Head coach of the side, WINFRED DORMON, explained why the team chose to camp in the capital ahead of the start of the new season.
Well, it is in our best interest. We decided to hold the campaign here because we have access to the AstroTurf, and most of our players or most of our fans comes from this area, comes from this Zongo environs, and so far preparation has gone down very, very well. Sometimes we mix the AstroTurf and then the natural turf. Sometimes we go to Legon to use the IS pitch. Sometimes we use this AstroTurf, and so far so good. Preparation has gone down where the players are responding to the demands of the pre-season, and it is looking good.
So far, the Still Believe boys have been involved in some friendly games, losing just one of them. DORMON has been assessing the team's performance in the pre-season.
Well, it's been good. Yes, we started with some low-profile games. We this week are graduating to the high profile. We have Olympics to play tomorrow at Magdand AstroTurf. We have the U20 also, to wind down on Saturday in Pram Pram, and then we'll have 1 week to polish, 1 week, to do some psychological orientation exercise. Basically, a coach needs about 6 to 8 weeks, and if we calculate the weeks, we are in the 6th week, and everything looks fine. The players are responding. We've strengthened every area of the team, i.e. goalkeeping, defense, midfield, and as far as the attack.
Should be a fun start to the league season. I'm Gary Smith, and that's the sport for now. I'll be back on the other side of 8 p.m.
Right, it's time for Showbiz, and Becky Bex is here. Hello, Bex.
Hello to you, Easy Ease. I watched a bit of the US election coverage.
Okay, you enjoyed it?
Yes, I did. I stayed up very late.
Except that until now, we don't know who has won.
Yeah. But Lil Wayne, he's in trouble because his girlfriend reportedly broke up with him because he endorsed Trump. Yes. Model Denise Bidot has broken up with her boyfriend, confirming their split.
Hold on. You know when you're talking about Lil Wayne, you know the Lil Wayne I had in mind.
Oh, no, it's not. We're talking about the American rapper, yes. So she actually posted on her Instagram that sometimes love just isn't enough, alongside a broken heart emoji. Love Beast Court reported that the split was caused by the rapper's support for President Trump, with his recent photo, OP with 45 being the last straw. So basically, that's what's happening with rapper Lil Wayne. I don't know.
Okay, but let's make it clear. There's Lil Wayne, and then
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. The original Lil Wayne.
That guy is very talented.
Oh, yeah.
Not to say that our Lil Wayne is not talented, but so Easy. That's news coming in.
Okay.
But Kwame Eugene, well, he's been doing a lot of talking. Last night was
trying to explain
exactly what's happening.
This supposed collaboration that turned out to be an endorsement.
Yes, but
is it really an endorsement?
I've listened. Let me tell you my honest opinion. I've listened to the song like over and over again, and it sounded like a gospel song. Apart from the Nana Twaso verse and the battle is the Lord's. There's nothing really strange.
The battle is the Lord's, really. It's also gospel.
Yeah, So, I mean, everything has been settled. Kwame Eugene says that he called the Sarkodie, and Sarkodie confirmed that it has nothing to do with politics. So let's move on. He was on Cosmopolitan Mix today, this morning, and he also spoke about whether or not he will compose a song for any political party. He won't do that, but if the song is for a national purpose, he will.
If my president asks me to do a work for him, he's my president, I'm definitely going to do it.
What do you mean by work for him? Do you mean a campaign song or a national patriotic song?
I'm a patriotic person.
Okay.
I'm a very somebody who is very patriotic to my country. I vouch for my country all the time. You get it? And I believe in democracy. The fact that everybody have the will to express themselves and make everybody feel really good. So if something is a favor come from my president, as a sitting president, I have every right to honor his call or to respect his decision. Do you get it? But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, if I'm supposed to do something for a political party, you get it? My president is different when it comes to political party issues.
So differentiating between
presidency and political party issues.
So you would do a Yanara Assassini kind of song.
Thank you so much, 100%.
As opposed to a Nanado kind of song.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll use you right there. But there's another song. I think the video is what's very interesting.
All right.
So it's alleged that Nasir composed the song. I'm not too sure, so I can't confidently say that it was Nasir. But it's actually for the NDC. And this song has been, the song with the video has been trending on social. I don't know whether you don't.
I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, you don't look like you've seen it. So let's take a look. Why are they doing that? You people, why are you dissing? But somebody, created something very nice.
Yeah.
I think they should do a video or something of that sort.
Okay. I'm sure.
Do you like the video though?
No, yeah, it's a nice video.
What's your favorite Disney character?
Thank you very much, Becky, for bringing us Showbiz. Now we're bringing you international news. The Inspector General of Police, James Opon-Bueno, says the security strategy for hotspots in the 2020 election will be slightly revised after they identified over 6,000 flashpoints, assuring the police and sister security agencies are ready for the election. Addressing a news conference on the readiness of the Election Security Task Force ahead of the polls, the IGP said lapses identified during his recent working visit to the regions are being tackled. Head of the security desk at Joynews reports.
Flanked by the top hierarchy of police, the IGP also had company from men in military uniform, symbolic they will be working together on December 7. On election day, expect to see more than 62,000 security officers at post. This time with armlets for easy identification and prevention of infiltration.
For identification purposes, a special armlet will be worn by officers deployed for election duties on election day. 62,794 security personnel from the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ghana Prison Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Ghana Armed Forces are being deployed for the elections. All the personnel that I've mentioned will be in their regular uniforms, with the exception of officers from the Criminal Investigation Department and of the Police Service and the Bureau of National Investigations, who will remain invisible in court.
And they will not be alone.
Ladies and gentlemen, personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces, together with operational units of the Ghana Police Service, who will be fully armed, will execute the patrol and rapid response and standby duties.
The police will also keep an eye on usual duties to deal with the threats of crime, terrorism or vigilantism that may spring up. The Odododiodo constituency, an electoral hotspot, has recorded a bloody clash between opposition NDC and the governing NPP recently. Well, the Ghana police has identified more than 6,000 of such flashpoints, and the strategies to be employed in these areas will be reviewed accordingly.
Saturated patrols and standby forces may be visible to prevent any mishap. We have identified 6,178 flashpoints nationwide. The flashpoints were decided based on a number of factors, such as incidents recorded in previous elections, this year's voters registration exercise, and crime rates and other factors.
Is the police service, mostly criticized as unfair and lacking public confidence, ready for this huge task?
I have visited all the 16 regions of this country. I also interacted with officers of all ranks on a variety of subjects, including how they are psychologically prepared for the task. And I'm satisfied that we are ready.
There are still some grey areas requiring attention.
The few gaps witnessed from the visits have been filled. However, a few remain which we are yet to fill before election day, and I can assure you that that will be done.
He would not give details. The police office, however, is working with the Electoral Commission to make the exercise as smooth and peaceful as possible. Officers on electoral duties will also not allow motorbikes more than 100 meters from polling stations. The IGP explains.
Most of the time, people who want to snap ballot boxes use motorbikes. First of all, 100 meters from a polling station, you don't bring a motorbike there. Because if you come there, we'll prevent you from coming closer.
Already, security analysts have said 100 meters is enough for a disruptive gunshot, and they're calling for a review of same. Going forward, the police service says communication channels will be opened to allow people who witness electoral violence or malpractices to report. But questions have been raised over police response time, even in emergencies.
I can assure you that in some cases, there will be less than 50 minutes.
Security analysts again have argued that 1.2 million Ghanaians possess arms, as those seeking gun licenses saw.
We are working with the Small Arms Commission. This morning, I sent an officer to the Western region, where the Small Arms Commission is undertaking an exercise. So we are in touch with them to try to deal with the small arms, the light arms situation in our country.
In June this year, MP for Wutusenya East, Hawa Kumsin, who doubles as a Minister of State, admitted to firing gunshots during an altercation at a registration centre in Kasua. Many Ghanaians are expecting an update.
You were talking about a sitting MP and claiming to have fired. You know, investigation is not a one-day event. It is not just that the event has happened. You arrest the person, put him before court, and the court discharges him. I think Ghanaians deserve better. And they deserve better by waiting on the police to do thorough investigations before we put cases before court.
Ayawaso West Wugon remains fresh on the minds of Ghanaians when masked armed men stormed a by-election. The result? Chaos and sporadic gunshots. The IGP says there will be zero tolerance for people who are not part of the original security plan.
On that day, I can assure you that the rapid response team that we have will deal with any situation arising out of people who are not prepared or who are not supposed to be there. Anybody who is not within our setup and he appears will be dealt with by our rapid response teams.
So be reminded as you go to the polls on December 7 to look out for the distinctive armbands that security personnel or anybody who puts himself forward as a security personnel will be bearing. From the number of people to be deployed on election day to the food for security personnel, everything has been addressed here by the Inspector General of Police. And this is a gesture that many Ghanaians have been waiting for in the wake of what has been described as heightened insecurity. Whether or not the answers given here thoroughly addresses all the thorny electoral issues, including violence, we all wait to see on December 7 and perhaps beyond. Gifty Andopia, Joynews, Police Headquarters, Accra.
Well, the EC Chairperson Jean Mensah and National Security Minister Albert Kandapa have been summoned to Parliament for questioning on preparations to ensure a free and violence-free election on December 7. Officials of the NCCA and NMC will also be appearing to respond to questions. Majority Leader Oseche Mensah disclosed the plan to MPs.
The request in respect of briefing of this House by the Electoral Commission in respect of their state of preparedness towards the elections slated for December 7th, 2020. As well, Speaker, there was another request for the involvement of the security operatives relating to their state of preparedness in the conduct of elections and other connected matters. Speaker, we have contacted almost all of them. The Electoral Commission is in the process of readjusting their own program for tomorrow, and possibly we shall see all these major stakeholders come to the House tomorrow to brief us, and by that also the country. Speaker, the arrangement will be for the Minister in charge of National Security to give us a briefing, and then we shall recline into a committee of the whole to listen to all these other major players, including the NCC and the Media Commission. Speaker, so that's just by way of announcement. We hope that it will be at 11, and after the Minister's briefing, as I said, we will incline into a committee of the whole to listen to these other persons.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, whose request last week has led to the invitation, is making fresh demands. He wants the police to give MPs the list of security personnel being deployed to various constituencies.
We look forward to hearing from the Electoral Commission tomorrow, but it appears that the Majority Leader has added others. I heard him mention Media Commission and NCC. Our request was specific to the Electoral Commission to give us a briefing on their preparedness for the presidential and parliamentary elections, because we need to ascertain the BVDs that we so procured for them. We've moved beyond registration. Now we need to understand verification. They procured 75,000. What is the state of it? In order that we understand that on election day we are not going to go manual and that those equipments are in play. But if it's invited NMC and NCCA, all the better. In respect of the security agencies, we want the Minister for Interior to support the Minister for National Security. And this time the IGP must be in attendance, because we want to understand what the deployment of the police service will be across the country to every constituency and to every polling station. We need to know who goes where. So appreciate that. We look forward to tomorrow when they come to give us the brief. And I'm sure the whips, this is a matter which affects all of us. So as you've heard, Leader, you should get members to show commitment and interest in those matters for the future good of our country. Thank you.
Staying with elections, social media firm Facebook says it is taking steps to protect the elections in Ghana this December from manipulation by persons seeking to take advantage of its platforms to misinform the electorate. The measures, it is believed, are aimed at preventing what happened in the 2016 US election, which many believe was manipulated in favor of one of the candidates. Joining me with details of how Facebook intends to protect Ghana's election from manipulation is Ikuya Jeche, Facebook's Public Policy Manager, Africa Elections. Thank you very much, Ikuya. Now, this move by Facebook to protect the elections in Ghana from interference, I believe, has to do with accusations voters were manipulated by persons using the Facebook platform in the 2016 US election. How was that possible in the first place?
Thank you so much for allowing me to join you today. I wanted to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing about the elections this time around. We've learned a lot from what happened in 2016, and a lot has changed since then in regards to how we think about elections and how we prepare for them as a company. I think one big example that is important to note is that we're thinking a lot about how to better combat misinformation and false news. So we're working really hard to fight the spread of misinformation, because we want people to see accurate information on Facebook and Instagram. And we want to make sure that people know that it's against our community standards to, for example, share misinformation that could lead to real-world harm or physical harm to people. We also remove misinformation that could prevent people from voting, such as false news relating to the dates, location, time, or voting methods.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, so you're talking about the misinformation, people putting out wrong dates and all that. What are some of the other measures that you're putting in place, and how does that stop or minimize the interference?
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention, though, just for clarification purposes on the misinformation standard. We work with over 70 independent fact checkers. In Ghana, for example, we work with DORMON because they help us better understand the accuracy of content that is shared on Facebook and Instagram. And we also warn people before they share any information that was rated false, just so they know that, and nobody wants to be the source of false information. And lastly, I think I wanted to call out that people should look out for both online campaigns and radio campaigns with educational information about how you can better spot false news. And we call them 3 questions to help stamp out false news. But in regards to other work that we're doing is we've focused heavily on transparency of political advertising. So as of August, in Ghana specifically, we have rolled out our political ads transparency tools. And what that basically means that anyone in Ghana who wants to run a political ad now has to go through a verification process. They have to prove who they are, and they have to prove that they live in Ghana. And also we run additional checks to ensure that they comply with our policies. That's really important. So you now have unprecedented transparency when it comes to political advertisement, more so than you have on billboards or newspapers. People can see that there's a paid by disclaimer, so everyone will know and can even look in our ads library for up to 7 years who's been spending money, who has been seeing the ads running on Facebook. We also do a lot about fighting interference. Fake accounts is one aspect where the company has done a lot of work and invested quite a bit to make sure that we disable them. So as a concrete example, between April and June of this year, we disabled over 1.5 billion fake accounts globally. And if you compare that to 2 years ago, that's 800 million more than in 2018. So you can see that we're making progress. And we've also invested very heavily into people, right? So now we have over 35,000 people alone at Facebook working on safety and security to sort of better understand things like coordinated inauthentic behavior. Is there any sort of manipulation going on of the public debate? And making sure that these type of networks come down ahead of major elections such as the one in Ghana.
All right, now how about WhatsApp, which is also owned by Facebook, has a lot of disinformation or misinformation that's also circulated on that platform. Are there any WhatsApp-specific interventions?
That's an excellent question, and we know how popular WhatsApp is in Ghana. WhatsApp has made some fundamental changes to their product to address the issue of virality and how to better reduce the spread of misinformation and any kind of misinformation that can amplify and maybe exacerbate any type of conflict or violence. So number one, WhatsApp has banned mass messaging. The company has used machine learning to identify and ban accounts that have this sort of behavior. And to give you a bit of a sense of how many accounts we're talking about, the company has banned around 2 million accounts a month globally for this type of mass messaging abuse. You will also have seen, if you used WhatsApp recently, that the company is reducing the number of people you can forward a message to just 5 chats at once. And even you might have seen the 2 errors, which indicate highly forwarded messages as well, where you can only forward that type of message to only one person. We have seen that this resulted in a 70% reduction in the number of highly forwarded messages on WhatsApp. We're extending the same to Messenger and have recently announced this publicly. So these are sort of ways that we can address and slow down the spread of viral misinformation and any type of harmful content that has a potential to hurt people or interfere with the election.
All right, so you talk about what you've done to stop the forwarding of messages or mass forwarding of messages, but it still means that some messages can still be forwarded. Are you in a position to control misinformation that's being shared? Because you tend to get a lot of that.
I think there is no silver bullet when it comes to misinformation, but I can tell you that the company is not only thinking about this issue, but thinking about also the fact that there's also an important component about education, because there's only so much that we can do, because WhatsApp is very different than, for example, Facebook. And WhatsApp messages are end-to-end encrypted. So even the company doesn't have any access to the messages that are being shared. So I think it's important for people to stop and ask themselves, who has shared this information? Why they're sharing it? How does it make me feel? And if you feel passionate about it or you feel very angry about it, you should think before you share it, because you probably have to think about the fact that somebody had an idea or some sort of purpose behind sharing this type of information. So I think it's a multi-pronged approach where we all have to play our part to make sure that we are not the source of misinformation. We don't spread it to our family and friends. We educate ourselves and go to third-party fact checkers to find out the truth. And also that we use the platforms wisely, especially in the lead up to the election.
How much cooperation are you getting from government in all of this?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Around the world, we work with governments and we focus on education. And especially in the election context, we focus on promoting civic engagement. So when we work with civic actors, such as, for example, the Electoral Commission and civil society organizations, we really want to think about, and we train them and answer their questions about how Facebook can be used as a positive tool for civic engagement. You know that in Ghana, we have a lot of young people who've never voted before. So we want to make sure they have all the accurate information they need in order to go in and get involved in their election. And also, what can they find out to keep themselves safe online while they engage on our platforms? In addition, we have teams that conduct virtual trainings on the ads enforcement policy I just referred to earlier, so they better understand how to use those tools, and also how to just civically engage with the audience. So political parties oftentimes want to know how they can better use the tools, and we provide free training in a very transparent and nonpartisan way, so people know how to best engage online.
All right. Well, now, which other agencies or bodies are you collaborating with? I know that you're doing some work with the media, but apart from the media, which other agencies?
Yeah, I think you were at our recent media roundtable, where we shared some of the recent news of the work that we're doing to support elections in Africa. But beyond media, as key stakeholders, we continue to work with NGOs and CSOs, including here in Ghana, to better understand the challenges, to better understand how we can tackle them more effectively. And this work continues to be instrumental because local partners give us feedback on what are we doing well, but also what are we not doing well, and how can we improve our policies or programs going forward.
All right. And you indicated that we should expect some radio ads as well, talking about the campaign against misinformation. Now, what should the public or the regular Facebook user know about this initiative, and what is expected of them?
Another great question. I would love the public to know that Facebook is committed to helping fight the spread of false news on our platform. I also would love people to sort of think about, especially when they hear our on radio campaigns or as well as the online campaigns we're running, I want them to really think before they share information. People should feel empowered to decide for themselves what they read, what they trust, and what they share by asking 3 questions. Where is it from? What is it missing? And how do I feel? I also want people to report when they see any unwanted or false information to Facebook. Reporting, I always need to emphasize this because not enough people in Ghana report. It is completely confidential, and it can be done in 3 very simple steps. So there's really nothing holding you back from letting us know if you come across any content that you think shouldn't be there and that's violating our community standards. And then take a second to inspire your family and friends to do the same thing. Ask yourself, where is it from? What is missing? And how does it make you feel?
All right, thank you very much, Ekia. But before you go, the bit about you not getting enough people reporting from Ghana, could it probably just be that we don't like snitching?
It is not snitching. I think the reality is that we all have to play a big part and role in keeping our community safe. That's happening offline as well as online. So I hope the next time we talk, you will tell me that you also confidentially reported something so we can take down some bad content and so that your family and friends don't have to see it.
Well, I get to report all the time.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, Ekia Jache. Ekia Jache is Facebook's public policy manager on Africa elections. Now, he first came to Joy FM in 2004 and wants to retire here at the multimedia group. Nicholas Ofori is one of this company's longest-serving drivers. In this report celebrating some of our longest-serving staff as we mark 25 years, my colleague Justice Bedu shares the story of the man born in ASAMOAH, popularly known as Bishop.
As a driver, you come early morning, you check your car. Now we have the roster. We have Joynews, we have Adom, we have production and business.
This is the start of a typical day for Nicholas Ofori, one of the drivers who have worked for the longest time with the multimedia group.
I was driving a taxi. I met one man at Asalamda, called Mr. Dakom. He told me he heard that Joy FM is looking for drivers. I told him, the man, hey, Joy FM, how can I apply Joy FM now? I said, oh, don't worry. If you are 1,000 people are looking for the job, and make sure they will take you. So I started Multimedia 2004.
Almost everyone here at Multimedia calls Nicholas Bishop. But how did he come by that name?
I was at ASAMOAH, and one bishop is ASAMOAH called Bishop Ofori. So that the area, that time I'm in Form 2, Form 3, 86, 85 there. They call me Bishop in that area. So one guy, when we grew up at ASAMOAH, that is now is a truck driver. So he loads from ASAMOAH to Kaneshie, Accra. Yeah. So when you go to Kaneshie, and one policeman sits in Lances, and he couldn't find a policeman. So somebody told him, go to Joy FM, and they will help you. So the guy came here. Immediately he saw me sitting there in front of the office. He said, Bishop. So the people we are gathered there. Hey, you call you Bishop, and he came here. He said you are Ofori. So as the boys, they changed the Ofori term to Bishop.
Bishop has traveled the length and breadth of Ghana, transporting multimedia journalists on various assignments.
You don't know the time you close. Even by 5 o'clock you're supposed to close. Assignment will come. Driver, let's go. You go. You travel with Kwaku, also prepare. You will reach Adanse from there. We are going and then the gearbox, our car. So the cameraman and the reporter left me. I spent 3 days in the town. Make sure we finish the car, everything make correct before I continue. Where that time I don't know anybody, but I spent 3 days.
Now in his late 40s, Bishop wants to retire here and looks forward to the rest of his work life at what he says is the best place to work, multimedia. As
people see that you are working in multimedia, they feel that, oh, you are good company. Because of multimedia, like I'm telling you, I travel a lot in Ghana. And I know people, because people come here every day, interview, these things, programs. So the politicians, non-politicians, the professors, I know them. So maybe if I need something and I contact them, I get it fast.
The prestige is what has kept Bishop here, and he hopes that the next phase of this company's journey will be bigger than what it is today. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Accra.
We're taking a break here on Joynews Prime to bring you more business news. Stay tuned in.
Hello there, and we're back with business. Now, the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, as well as Innovation, says the government is developing a circular economy framework with the use of plastics. Now, this will tackle how plastics are designed, manufactured, consumed, disposed of, and recycled due to its negative impacts on the environment. The sector minister said this when he visited the Nel Plus Eco Ghana at Kwabekrom in the Bon Katamanso municipality. There is more in this report.
Plastic waste pollution has been one of the nightmares of successive governments. However, in the last few years, some young Ghanaians are changing the narrative, the use of plastic waste as raw materials. From production of building materials to fuel, they hope to help rid society of plastic menace. Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, as part of its mandate, is helping build capacity and streamline ideas of these minds. The ministry, over the past 3 years, has helped fine-tune ideas of Nelson Boateng, who is creating blocks, among other things, from plastic waste. Professor Frimpong Boateng was impressed with the brick house Nelson has built from plastic waste and sand.
If we look at all the raw material that go into production of these blocks and pavement stones, it's staggering. You can see raw material from big companies like Nestle, the Milo and the milk, plastics, which cannot be recycled. But they come here to be converted into pavement stones. And one thing that surprised even me is the weight, So we ask ourselves, where do the waste end? And this is where they are. They are also going to be used in making pavement stones for the company that produces the waste in Ghana. I mean, as I said, when you see all these raw materials, then you begin to appreciate the admiration of the president that we need to work hard to make Ghana a very clean country.
Professor Frimpong Boateng believes such innovations can be adopted at the national level to develop the country.
And as he said, we don't want cheap products. We don't want bad things for our schools and so on. And this system is in development. The interlocking bricks are solid, and he's just told us that he's going to develop roofing material also from plastic, and also the ceiling buttons also from plastic. And when things are done, and then we can talk to the Minister for Works and Housing, there will be a demonstration house, and the experts will come and have a look at these things. When they are happy, then we can adopt the method into the construction of government or public property. We can't force the private sector to own it, but we can improve it so that we can use it. We have others who are also using the same plastic to produce diesel and petrol. We have others who are doing chairs and tables with this thing. So a lot of innovators.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of Nel Plus Eco Ghana, Nelson Boateng, says innovations from plastic waste are time-tested.
Plastic waste has been a big challenge to us in the city mostly. So why I came up with this idea to use the plastic waste that we have in the city to solve the problems that we have in the villages, that schools under trees, and those that cannot afford houses that is costing about $20,000, $50,000. This house is very cheap and any ordinary person can afford it. Even by picking plastic to us, we can negotiate with the person to get one of these. There is a little component of cement. As when we get to the pillar side, we need the cement to hold the pillars together. But apart from the pillars and the beams, everything you see here is just plastic interlocking, no cement. So these bricks has been tested in Ghana Area Authority and Ghana Standard Board for the compression strength, and we are even above the normal concrete bricks that we have. This building can withstand over 100 years without doing any maintenance, unlike the concrete ones.
The ministry will be instituting an award scheme to honor names behind such innovations. Kwame Yankesh reports for Joy Business.
Now, cashew nut production has increased several folds across the country over the last few years. And even though successive governments have supported the increase in production, farmers continue to suffer from the drop in the prices of the commodity. As a result, an association has been inaugurated to serve the interests of local cashew farmers in negotiating with international buyers for competitive pricing. And Sabit has more in this report.
The impact of cashew in the socio-economic development of the country, especially around the Middle Belt, has been enormous over the years. However, issues like low producer prices, underdeveloped market structures, and lack of leaders to champion the cause of farmers is slowly causing farmers' enthusiasm in the crop to wane. Some cashew farmers in the Bono East and Ahafo areas share with me a few challenges bedeviling the cashew trade.
The price also is something that would reduce our faith to grow cashew. The price and the tips. These are the challenges we have as a cashew farmer.
Normally the prices are very bad. It's in terms of when you consider the CMD cocoa, the prices are very better than the cashew farming. But cashew farming too is very difficult to get even before you get a bag.
For Niapa Wilson John Cheme, also a cashew farmer, the absence of a united front led by a team of leaders is the cause of the poor pricing by the buyers.
We have a problem concerning pricing of cashew. Usually we farmers, we don't have much say as concerned to that of the pricing of cashew because we are not united. And the middlemen, that's what I used to say, because they normally bargain with those from abroad, the Indians. And when they come with their prices. So whatever price that they bargain from the Indians, we don't know. That is one of the problems.
The good news for those in the cashew sector, however, is that an association has been inaugurated in Techiman to fight for the poor farmers who feel cheated by the buyers over the years. Mr. Emmanuel Goodman is the national president of the Progressive Cashew Farmers Association of Ghana.
This association was based on the issues that were raised, the issues and difficulties from the farmer groups. The farmers were saying that the previous cashew associations, their views, their criticisms, their contributions were not taken care of. So it is out of those challenges from the farmer group, that is why we formed this association. So this association is basically to fight for the cause of the farmers in the cashew growing localities.
Mr. Goodman tells me that the major task of the group is to arrive at a competitive pricing after engaging the international buyers in a stakeholder meeting.
I think all of us can bear what happened over there. We had more than 500 participants there, and you could see their excitement. We said that we will be meeting with the international buyers and agree a very competitive price with the international buyers, and that price level will come down to the farmers. Thereby, the farmers will get very, very, very competitive price for their produce, and this one will make the farmers increase their yield. And this will increase employment in the cashew industry neighborhood.
But what does this mean to the poor farmers who have been without a vibrant leadership over the years? Are their prayers finally answered?
I'm very happy. That is why I came. Because if you have that kind of association, like what we have established today, I think it will be better.
Well, that's how we end this, part of business with me, Charles Aite. Sports is up next with Gary L. Smith. Just stay.
Time for the second part of the sports. I'm Gary L. Smith. In our first story, the Chief Executive Officer of Heart of Oak, Frederick Moore, is confident his team have done enough to end their 10-year wait to win the league title. He spoke to my colleague, Muftau Abdullah.
Excitement, especially
when we want to be where we want to be. Well, I think that we've got a very strong team. We've beefed up our technical team, and I'm looking forward to the 2020-2021 season. Well, there was a lot of learning. One of the most important things that you do in life is you learn and you progress. Continuous progress is what brings sustained success. If you parachute success, it doesn't last. You come down. So we've learned a lot of things. We learned a lot about our players. We learned a lot about the technical team, the refereeing, the matches. We also learned a lot about the structure that we've got that supports the football. And there's a lot of work that we are doing behind the scenes to make us stronger. After it's been said a few times, it's not being news. Look, we've beefed up the team. We are looking at how we can structure the technical team to be successful. And that's the most important thing. The players themselves are eager to go. I've been to the training ground a couple of times, a number of times, and I've seen the hunger in their eyes, the hunger in terms of what they do, how they respond to training. I have no doubt that the other clubs have also beefed up the teams and they are very strong competition. And that's what Ghana football needs. We want to be successful. We are the premier club and we want to be the premier of everything. I've never claimed to be a prophet, and I don't want to start now. But what we do, like I said, we've got a very successful board chairman, and what I have learned from him and what I try to implement is that we try and do the best every single day for the club. And if we continue to do that, we'll have the sustained success. And one of the things that we continue to do to be successful is the Pobiman Academy that we are building.
The Ghana Hockey Federation is confident they'll be better post-COVID-19. And according to the communications manager, Reverend Lomomenu, despite the effects of the virus, they are sure of a better future. I spoke to my colleague, Elon Benaya.
Following the outbreak of COVID-19, sporting activities were halted as protocol to stop the spread of the virus. Sporting federations, including the Ghana Hockey Association, were unable to organize events to keep their athletes active. Head of Communication, Marketing and Sponsorship of the Ghana Hockey Association, Reverend Lomomenu, bemoaned their inability to execute their lofty ideas.
The Ghana Hockey Association has been managing. It's unfortunate all the sports associations all over the world. I mean, we've had very challenging times. It's unfortunate that 2020, the Ghana Hockey Association was actually planning to do something great. We were going to build about 3 new pitches. We actually have all the equipment in. And we're going to build one in Cape Coast at the Cape Coast University, another one at KNUST, and another one at Legon, just to prop up the game, to boost the enthusiasm and the interest of hockey, especially among the youth, and then the corporate bodies as well. As you know, hockey is a very exciting game.
Mr. Lomomenu added that, despite the fact that they were unable to organize events, they intend to start their activities in February.
And that's it for the sport for now. And before we go, please don't forget to check out our Instagram, where we have updates on a lot of things happening at ASAMOAH training, and also the fact that on Friday we have the 2nd edition of the GPL Primer. So it's on Joy Sports GH as you see there. Yep. That's the 6th of November, the Kotoko edition from 10 to 11 p.m. And that comes a week after the Hearts edition. It will be hosted by Muftawa Nabila, so please make a date with us. We have a Kotoko legend who will be in the studio with us. Thank you for your time. I'm Gary Alsmith.
right, so that'll be all for Joynews Prime for this evening. My name is Israel Lai. Thank you very much for watching. Up next, we have PM Express, Manifesto Express. So do stay tuned in. You have a good evening.